is Step 1 with Freddie Wilson. Welcome to another episode of Step 1. I am Freddie Wilson. As a reminder, you can find every episode of Step 1 on Spotify and YouTube. If you want to see more Step 1, give me a follow on Instagram at Step 1 with Freddie Wilson and Twitter at Step 1 Podcasts. We got a great show for you today. My good friend Joseph Murciano joined the show to talk a little football. Also, we had a wild week of college football and NFL to recap and some exciting games to preview. All right, let's ride. We did an awesome weekend of college football. It all started on Saturday at high noon with Ole Miss getting a big bounce back win against Oklahoma. Now, Ole Miss did not play their best by any means, but the defense held up and essentially crushed the playoff hopes of Oklahoma. Also, Virginia remains a one-loss team as they survive a scare from UNC. Virginia is a team we're not talking about enough, but they find ways to win games. And their one loss, well, technically a conference loss. It's not a conference loss because the NC State game wasn't considered a conference game. So they're undefeated in the conference. So I think Virginia is a sneaky good team. I don't think we talk about them enough. I know North Carolina should have won this game, but Virginia did just enough to get the job done. South Florida is now out of playoff contention after blowing a lead to Memphis. I know we almost never talk about Group of Five, but one team is going to make the playoff, and I think right now we're looking at the schedules. It's going to be Memphis or Navy. Navy has the hardest schedule because they had to play Notre Dame, but if they are a one-loss team coming to the final game against Memphis, that game might have significant playoff implications. Indiana and Georgia Tech stay undefeated as they both get monster wins. Indiana is better than last year. They're looking like a legitimate national contender. As for Georgia Tech, they might cruise through the ACC, and maybe, just maybe this year they beat Georgia. Moving the afternoon, Alabama survived a scare down in Columbia as they were able to hold off the Gamecocks. Alabama's just finding ways to win games. I think everyone who wrote them off, me included, at the start of the season, owes Alabama a big apology because this team is really good. BYU gets a comeback win against Iowa State to stay undefeated. I don't think BYU is going to go undefeated Big 12. They still have to play both Texas Tech and Cincinnati, both games on the road. But given the circumstance of losing their quarterback and starting a true freshman quarterback, BYU's had a remarkable season. Vanderbilt survives again with a big win against Missouri. I know Bo Pribula went down for Missouri. That may have been the reason why Vanderbilt was able to get the win, but it was a close game, and I think Vanderbilt showed they were the better team, and I think they would have won that game even if Bo Pribula did play. And I think Vanderbilt's a good team, and no one wants to play them. Diego Pavia is a dog, and he makes big plays. I really hope they keep winning, and maybe this is the year they beat Tennessee. Moving into Saturday night, Texas survives the scare from Mississippi State, but they lose Arch Manning to a concussion. Arch Manning played well this game before getting injured in overtime. This was an important win for Texas to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. Oregon wins, but I will admit it was not our best game. Wisconsin's our kryptonite. We had the same issue last year, and this year, in an even worse Wisconsin team, we still struggled. The Ducks' offense looks stagnant, and sure, you can blame the rain, but Wisconsin is horrendous, and the fact that we only scored 21 points is ridiculous. Also, Dante Moore may have a broken nose, so who knows what's going to happen, but credit to Brock Thomas for filling in, making some big plays. And finally, LSU falls to Texas A&M, and Brian Kelly is now fired. Brian Kelly was never a good fit at LSU. He just couldn't build a championship contender at LSU, and LSU just simply had enough and was willing to pay his very expensive buyout. Moving to the NFL, we had a great weekend of games. It all started Thursday night with a blowout win for the Chargers against the Vikings. Vikings couldn't get anything get going. Carson Wentz is now injured, and the Chargers offense was firing on all cylinders. Big win for the Chargers. Moving into Sunday, the Dolphins got a much-needed statement win against the Falcons. I think this game was a fluke. I don't think the Dolphins are that good, but this shows the Dolphins still have some life in them. The Ravens got a much-needed win and ended the winning streak for Chicago Bears. The Jets finally got a win, and it was a good one as they came back against the Bengals. The 49ers injuries caught up to them, and they were not able to handle the Texans. The Patriots remain hot as they cruise to a win against the Browns. I know Myles Garrett had 5 sacks, but even that the Browns still couldn't stop the Patriots. And the Patriots are playing really well right now, and Drake May is a stud. Moving afternoon, the Saints finally benched Spencer Rattler and put in Tyler Show, but they still get blown out by the Buccaneers. The Colts are still the best team in the league as they dominate the Titans, and the Broncos got a monster win against the Cowboys. And on Sunday night, the Packers got a statement win against the Steelers, and Aaron Rodgers can't say he's beaten every team in the NFL. The Packers started off slow, but the second half was dominant. Jordan Love looked awesome, and the Steelers' offense just couldn't do much against the strong Packers defense. Great win for the Packers. And on Monday night, we saw the Chiefs dominate the Commanders. The Chiefs are back to being the Chiefs. I've said it every week for the last like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks now. The Chiefs are back to being the Chiefs. And I know the Commanders didn't have Jay Daniels, but I don't think it would have mattered because the Chiefs are just better. And now let's get back to my interview with Joseph Murciano. All right, today we welcome on very special guest, reoccurring guest, here to talk a little football with us. Joseph Murciano, welcome back to Step One. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
All right, we'll start with college football. We'll start with our conference, the Big Ten. And I got a question for you. This is a question that's going around the podcast world. Is Ohio State better than last year?
Absolutely not.
You don't think they're better
There's
than last year? Because I think they
what would
are.
what would make you think they're better?
I think I just think they're blowing teams out by more. I mean, they have a cupcake schedule with the exception of Texas. Even that is pushing it.
Well, they barely beat
They
Texas.
barely beat Texas, but
And Texas was
their
bad
defense
when they played
their
Texas.
defense is better than last year. Offensively, maybe not as good, maybe not as many the running game, but the defense is better.
We'll see. They haven't played a real team yet.
And also, let's be honest, how much Ohio State have you actually watched? Because outside of a Texas game, how much Ohio State have you really watched? Because
Not as that much.
they haven't played that many like high profile games where you're like, you know what, I want to watch the Ohio State game today. Like
That's absolutely true.
I watched part of the Washington game because I thought Washington could maybe run the table. They didn't. I probably had Illinois on the TV with no sound. You know, we got the two TV setup going, and I probably had that game on the no sound TV. So the lesser important TV. But I haven't watched that much Ohio State. And I'm not going to watch them this weekend because they're going to blow up Penn State.
It would be hard for them to be better than they were last season. Let's
It
just put
would
it that
be.
way.
Do you think, I mean, you're biased. Do you think Michigan's going to beat them this year?
Of course I do, Freddie.
I mean, I knew the answer
I
was going to
don't
be
doubt it.
yes.
I mean, Michigan, you could say this team is undoubtedly better than last season. And we
Yes,
beat
that is.
Ohio State
You
last
did beat
season, who
Ohio
had a
State
better
at
team than this season.
yeah, you beat them at the shoe. You're at the big house this year. So that's a game. That's an Ohio State game. I'm definitely going to tune in, and I'll have sound on that game.
It's the game.
It's the big one. All right, stick with the Big Ten. Indiana, are they for real?
They're for real.
They're for
And I
real.
love their coach.
I have a Signetti shirt. Like I am a Signetti fan.
He's the coolest guy there is. I've never seen someone come in and turn a program around like that before.
I mean, he's setting a high bar for like anyone who's like, we'll get into the coaching vacancies, but he's setting a high bar for what you
And
can do to a program.
he's incredible. He went to JMU, just won everything, and is doing the same thing in Indiana. It's like a matter of time. They could be the best team in the country. They haven't lost.
They haven't lost, and I mean, Ohio State hasn't lost either. So it's one of those two teams that are best teams in the country, in my opinion.
Has Indiana also had a cupcake schedule? I haven't watched
They
much of
beat
them
they
either.
beat Oregon, so they have a high
Whoa,
profile
Oregon.
win, and they did
Oregon
beat.
kind of sucks.
Hey, don't hate on the Ducks. Ducks are going to bounce back. Big game against Iowa, not this weekend, but next weekend. But in Iowa,
It,
we got to talk about Iowa because Iowa's found an offense.
it's so weird. I haven't ever seen this before. So when I was in college, Michigan made the Big Ten championship twice, and they won like 42-0 each time.
Yeah, Iowa just all of a sudden has an offense, and And Iowa having an offense is a scary Iowa team.
That it's not their DNA. They have to get back to bad offense. That's how they make the Big Ten championship every year.
And
Yeah,
there is a path to the playoff for them because it's not easy. But if they beat Oregon, they have a couple hard games. Like it's
they
not an
do.
easy schedule. They have to play Oregon, but it is at Iowa, and that scares me. Because normally
I just think
I'd be scared because we're not going to score, and maybe Iowa will find. But now that Iowa's an offense, now I'm concerned.
it just doesn't feel right, you know? It's
Yeah, they play.
staple Iowa to have an incredibly good defense with a quarterback that probably wouldn't start at a random high school.
Yeah,
And then they have these incredible tight ends every year that you never hear of before they make the NFL because their quarterback is so bad. That's Iowa football. I don't like this. I don't like what's going on right
it
now.
is kind of
They
fun.
figured it out.
It is fun. I'm just mad I have to play them. It's fun if I didn't
That's
have to
true.
deal with them. It'd be fun if the
That's true.
Pac-12 still existed and then Iowa was a distant thought. But no, we have to deal with them. But Iowa does have to run a gauntlet. They had to play Oregon and they had to play USC. And also like Nebraska rivalry game, that could be a game. So it's not an easy
Yeah.
schedule, but there is a path.
The Big Ten this year is, in my opinion, a little bit weak.
It's top heavy.
Oh, it's really only Ohio State. It's really just Ohio State and Indiana. Then
And
there's like a
Oregon
couple of
and Oregon. It's a top
like
it's top three
we
big dogs.
we can put Oregon in the mix, but everybody else is just a little worse than they typically are.
Does that
So it's
include
like,
Michigan?
yes,
Even though
although Michigan is ranked now, they're at what, low 20s?
let's see. I haven't looked
I
at the
think
AP.
they're like 21. And it's not just that. It's like the average teams, not like exclude the top 4 or 5 teams in the Big Ten, like Northwestern, like sucks. Maryland sucks. Purdue
Maryland
terrible.
is better than last year. Maryland has a quarterback.
That's not saying that much. Like, you know what I mean? That
He's
last
not
year at this
staying at
time,
Maryland by any means.
yeah,
He's
last year at this time, Michigan had like 7, 8 teams ranked, or maybe not last year, 2 years ago, and the year before that, 7 or 8 teams ranked. Penn State this year is
Penn
obviously
State's
really terrible.
yeah, well that's a fluke. Penn State will
Yeah.
be fine. Who do you think Penn State's going to hire?
Uh, I don't know.
It's a top. It's hard to say. It's hard to say how long they're going to wait to hire someone. If we're going to wait till after the playoff,
Yeah,
because it's a high bar. You have to be better than James Franklin, and that is I know James Franklin had his flaws, but he was still a very good coach.
who are the big names up for content? Jimbo Fisher could be fun.
Jimbo could be fun. I mean, he won't do it, but Coach O,
Yeah, no
he would
shot.
never go to Penn State.
Never. There's not that many guys
It's
that
got
are
to be
up. Like,
some random guy we've never heard of.
you think it could be like Brian Kelly?
I
That
mean,
would
if Brian
suck.
Kelly, it would be, he's won everywhere he's gone. I know he didn't, LSU didn't really work out, which I have some opinions on. I think he just never had a complete team. Whenever he had a good defense, the offense sucked. Whenever he had a good offense, the defense sucked. Like he just never had everything he needed to be competitive.
That is true, and that is his fault though. But I think that James, or I think Franklin should go to Wisconsin. I think that's a logical next move for
Well, Fickle
Franklin.
hasn't been fired yet. He's gonna be
Or
fired.
he's gonna be fired. It's
Yeah,
like they're just waiting it out for the end of the season. You know,
I
put a
did see a
firing coach
rumor. I
mid-season,
did see
but
a rumor on the internet today of James Franklin of Virginia Tech,
oh
which that would
no,
be fun.
he belongs in the Big Ten. We need him. He's like the guy that crumbles in the big moments. It's what he does.
And he can crumble in the ACC. And I think if he can make turn Virginia Tech into what Penn State was, Virginia Tech will be a very good ACC team. And we're also going to Virginia Tech for game this weekend. A little shout out to them. We're taking a trip down to Blacksburg, step one
I
road
don't
trip.
know.
No,
I
I'm
don't.
actually going to the game.
No, I know that. I just don't think you should go to Virginia Tech. That's not a real football conference. They have
They
Clemson, I guess, who's historically good. They're truly
well
terrible
this year
now.
though, I think they got some good teams this year. They got well Miami lost, but Georgia Tech
Right.
is Georgia Tech for real. I think they are.
I don't.
I think they're going to beat Georgia this year. I really do. I think this is the
I
year they do it.
I have not watched enough Georgia Tech football,
I've
but I
watched.
highly doubt that.
I've.
And I also think that Dabo is another guy up for contention for the Penn State job,
You think Dabo's going to get fired from Clemson, or is he going to leave
without a
Clemson?
doubt.
Is he going to leave
He's,
Clemson to go to Penn State?
I mean, it's the same thing. He's going to get fired. He's going to leave. It's going to be a mutual decision at the end of the season.
All right. Well, this is a good segment to ACC because I think there's some sneaky good teams in ACC. I think Virginia is sneaky good. I think Louisville, who we're seeing down this weekend, take on Tech. I think they're a little overrated, but I still think they're a pretty good team. They're a one-loss team. Miami's still a one-loss team. There's some good teams in the ACC.
The problem with the ACC, Freddie, is that you don't play enough good teams during the year to be competitive in the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
It's just a cupcake schedule, and they're going to get smacked by any Big Ten or SEC team that they go up against.
except for
So I'm
Georgia
not I'm
Tech,
not
because
concerned about it.
I think Georgia Tech's for real. I think Haynes King's a stud. I think they're what they're doing can transfer to another conference.
I guess that's a
I
hot
don't think.
take because
Oh,
I would not. I wouldn't agree
I
with
don't think
that.
they're winning like the national championship, but I definitely think they're going to win the ACC because their one loss is going. to If they have one loss, it's going to be to Georgia, so that's non-conference. So they're going to go undefeated in the ACC.
Well, what about the ACC championship?
I mean, I think they're going to win the ACC championship.
You think they're beating Miami?
I do, yes. I think Miami has. I think Chris Paul's a liability. I think we've seen Carson back for 4 interceptions against Louisville. They
That
struggled
could have
against
just been a fluke.
that. Could have
He
been a
is
fluke.
good.
They struggled against Stanford early on. I know it was 42-7, but they struggled against Stanford early on. Speaking of which, did you see those camo uniforms? This may be an unpopular opinion. I really liked them. I didn't see them on the field. I just saw them the pictures, but I really
I've only
liked them.
seen bad press about those uniforms.
Everyone seems to not like them. I thought they were really cool.
I didn't feel strongly either way.
All right, I knew.
I'm not the coolest jerseys I've ever seen.
Oh,
I'll
not the
put that
coolest
out there.
jerseys by far, but
Your
Oregon
boys have the coolest jerseys ever, always.
Grateful Dead jerseys. Except we only beat Wisconsin by 14.
Yeah, that's a tough look. They're bad.
Wisconsin's bad, yeah.
Yeah,
But Wisconsin's our kryptonite because we almost lost to Wisconsin last year. Wisconsin just might be Oregon's kryptonite.
maybe. I mean, not really if you win it all the time.
Yeah, but we barely won last year. We should have won by more this year.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Any other ACC teams you're thinking like they could at least be relevant? I think
No.
Virginia can't keep getting away with this.
I'm loving what I'm seeing out of UNC.
Why, you're not a Belichick fan?
No, he torched the Dolphins for 25 years or however long he coached there. I hate that guy. He made me so upset for so long.
So you're just loving him losing.
Oh yeah. He doesn't deserve to win anymore. He's won way too much already.
All right. Before we get to the SEC, let's just cover the Big 12. Um, I think BYU is a tough schedule. I don't know if BYU is for real in the Big 12.
Whatever happened to that Jewish quarterback?
Jake Retzlaff. So Jake
Yes.
Retzlaff got in some trouble, and then he committed a rule against BYU because he had sex, allegedly. Consensual,
No.
by the way, but it's against BYU policy.
So what? Where is he now?
He's at Tulane. He's
Why didn't
kill.
I know that?
I mean, I'm a BY. I was a BYU fan, so I know all about Jake Retzlaff.
Is
I
he?
th-
He's killing it at Tulane.
I mean, he's doing all right. I don't think they're going to win the American. I think there's some better teams in the American, but I do think the group, whoever comes out of a group of five for the playoff, it's going to come from the American. It's probably going to be Memphis, but a dark-headed Navy. Navy is undefeated.
I love seeing the armed forces do well.
I want a triple option team in the playoffs so bad. I don't want it. I need it. I just want us. Don't get destroyed. And Navy's not going to make the playoff because they have to play Notre Dame. And they're going to lose, and they have to play Memphis. But how funny would it be if a triple option team made it to the playoff?
That would be awesome.
You know why
That
they
would be
run a triple
awesome.
option, right?
'Cause they can't throw the ball.
No, because you in order to be in a service academy, you have to be of a certain weight, and it's really hard to play traditional football at for offensive linemen when you're of that
Is that
certain weight.
right?
I've done my research on this because I was curious. Why do only the service academies run this offense?
That's
And
awesome.
it's because the offensive linemen are inherently lighter because they have to be in a certain weight.
I just always thought it was because the quarterbacks were so bad,
I mean, they
which is
had
true. They run the ball every single play.
yeah. Usually the quarterbacks aren't that good because they run the triple option.
Yeah,
But no, it's because the army makes them be a certain weight.
that's tough. That means you have to be so like such a tough person to play offensive line.
Yeah,
You're
I
at like
mean,
a 50 pound. You're 50 pounds lighter than defensive lineman.
yeah. Imagine being a freaking running back and like playing, getting tackled by a 300-pound dude, and you're like 110 pounds in the army. Like, no way.
That's ultimate tough guy
But
right
yeah,
there.
yeah, no. Anyone who plays in a triple option or a service academy is a real hero.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel comfortable with those guys being the people who fight for my country.
Except they can't beat a bunch of Catholics at Notre Dame because they play Notre Dame every year. I may have tweeted last year when Navy was getting crushed by Notre Dame, like these guys had to defend America. They can't beat a bunch of Catholics. I understand if it were anything but football, they would probably win. If they beat Notre Dame in warfare, they'd probably win.
Yeah, they would beat Notre Dame in warfare.
All right, but back to the Big 12. So we talked about BYU. I mean, Texas Tech, they got quarterback injuries, but their defense is really good. So there's that. Who I don't know who else is in the Big 12. It's the conference I think about the least.
Yeah, there's not much going on there.
There's there's some sneaky good teams though. And
You're
what
just saying that because the record's good. They're not actually good teams.
on Big 12? All right. Again, you still have a 7-1 Cincinnati. You have a 7-1 Houston. But again, like are they real contenders to a national championship? Absolutely not. If Texas Tech had a healthy quarterback, maybe.
Yeah. But
But
there to be fair, there are no, in my opinion, there are no really good teams this season. There's no one standout team like there usually is with Alabama or Georgia.
I mean, I can make the
It's
argument Ohio State.
not you can't make that argument yet. They haven't played anyone good. Texas is not good. Texas is even worse than they are now when they played Ohio State.
And they
Remember?
yeah, it was rough.
There was a couple of plays on that on uh down the stretch where Arch Manning had the ball at the 1 yard line multiple times, couldn't punch it in.
They bend don't break the Ohio State defense.
That
They're
defense is
it's a good
spare me.
it's a
Spare me with their defense being good this year. They haven't played
it's a
anybody good. No good offenses
it's a
yet.
good defense.
No, they're not.
I mean, they held
We'll see.
they they played Washington, they played Illinois, like they played decent teams. They just haven't played a good team yet.
Listen, Michigan's defense isn't that great this year. They held Washington to 7.
Yeah, well, I still think Washington's sneaky good, and Oregon has to play them, and we'll get into that later in the season. But
I've never seen a choke job like Washington's quarterback had in the second half of that game. Washington Michigan game.
I mean, I
They
was
had like
happy. I will
three
never
straight
root for.
turnovers.
I was happy. I will never root for the University of Washington. You know why we're all salty? Why we hate UW? Just besides the fact that it's geographically near us. You know why we really hate UW?
Do you not like their crew team that made the Olympics?
No, we don't like them because no one from Oregon got into UW, me included.
Is that is that the
Ever,
real
ever,
reason?
I mean, a lot of people who go to Oregon also apply to Washington and didn't get into Washington.
I didn't know that,
I mean,
actually.
I don't know if that's like sums up everyone, but I didn't get into Washington.
Did you apply from Oregon?
I applied to the University of Washington as an undergrad and did or like
Mm,
not to transfer. I applied when I was applying to colleges and didn't get in. It was the one school I didn't get into. So
it's
that's
true though.
another reason why I don't like the University of Washington, other than that they're just geographically near Oregon.
I actually know a lot of people that went to University of Washington because I lived in San Francisco for 2 years. And so it's a big hub for people that graduated from University of Washington,
Makes sense.
which made me hate them even more.
Yeah, Washington fans are not very nice. The
They're
little
not nice. And I was there the year. One of the years I was living in San Francisco, Michigan won the national championship. And so I was hounding all of them for months and months and months on end. And
all right,
so it probably didn't make my relationship with Washington better.
all right. Before we get to the NFL, let's just cover the SEC. I is A and
It was
M
interesting this season.
A and M's good. A&M is usually not meant to be good. Elko has turned that program around. That's another great coach.
Oh yeah. They're good. I think Ole Miss is good. I think LSU is really good. I
You
think
think LSU is really good?
yes, their quarterback is so cool.
Have you
Trinidad
watched?
Chandless.
Are you talking about Ole Miss or LSU?
Sorry, Ole Miss, not LSU.
Yeah, LSU's not that good.
Yeah. So Ole Miss. Well, I do like that their linebacker is dating Lane Kiffin's daughter.
That is very funny. But Ole Miss has potential. I think they're going to make the playoff. And like, if you look at their schedule, I think they have a pretty favorable schedule. Let me look.
Yeah,
Well, well,
I don't
let's.
know it for to be off the top of my head, but I would that would surprise me just
I'm.
given how good the SEC is.
I mean, Ole Miss plays South Carolina, Citadel, Florida, Mississippi State.
Whoa. Those teams all suck.
I mean, they're going to be the Citadel, obviously. I don't know. Mississippi State, though, it's at Mississippi State. Mississippi State's frisky, and they play their hardest in the Egg Bowl. You can have a dog shit season at Mississippi State, but if you beat Ole Miss, all will be forgotten.
Yeah.
You can win
Yeah.
one game, and if it's against Ole Miss, that's a successful season at Mississippi State.
Yeah, I just don't think they have what it takes. I think
Oh,
Ole Miss is the real deal this year.
so Ole Miss could theoretically run the table in the schedule.
Well, don't forget that if they win out, they're going to have to play in the SEC championship, and that is not a given if they'll win.
Yeah, but what's their record? They're a one loss team. They're a one loss team, so they could lose the SEC championship and still make the playoff.
They could, but they could. Yeah, it wouldn't. But it wouldn't be a given that they make the playoffs,
But
especially depending on how they lose.
that's still a successful Ole Miss season. If you think of it, if runner up in the SEC championship, maybe barely missing the playoff, that's a very successful Ole Miss season.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right.
And I think
What about
I do think they're going to win all their games because the only road game is Mississippi State. They play Florida and they play South Carolina at home.
Florida's another team that like really needs to figure it out.
Well,
I
Napier
don't
they
understand how
fired
they're not
Napier.
good.
They
I know
fired
he was
Napier
awful.
finally.
He was awful.
Is Lane Kiffin going to be the next Florida coach?
I don't know why he would do that.
I don't know why either. We heard the rumor last year and it didn't happen. Hear the rumors this year. It could happen.
It totally, I guess it could, but you're now at Ole Miss, who is significantly better than Florida. You would be essentially just having to start over and try to replicate what you're doing at Ole Miss. It seems like he would be taking a step back.
I mean, it's a bigger brand, and they probably could pay him way more money.
You think?
They could pay him more money. I know that.
Why do you say that?
I
You don't think that Ole Miss will pony up?
I mean, maybe if they're really worried, but like, all Mississippi is weird where like you can only have coaches on contracts for 4 years at a time. It's a state law.
I actually didn't know that.
Just
That
it's
could
just
change things.
so like they could Florida could offer Lane Kiffin long term stability that Mississippi just simply can't do.
Yeah. Part of me though thinks that Lane Kiffin is such a football guy that money doesn't matter as much to him.
I mean, he's
But
already
when you're
making good
talking
money
about,
anyways.
yeah, but I guess when you're talking about like the contracts that college football coaches are getting today, like $150 million contracts, is probably different.
But yes, I agree. Florida's a team that has not figured it out, and they have potential. And I think depending on who they hire, they could be good in next year or the year after.
It just doesn't make sense. It's Florida's arguably the best state for football in the country. You just need to like drive a couple hours south and start recruiting the top talent
But
there.
if you think about it, look who they're recruiting against, and within a state, you have Miami and you have Florida State.
This is the first year Miami's been good in I don't even know how long.
But
And
still,
Florida State also hasn't been good in a long, long time. Florida's the staple is the staple football school in the state of
when was the
Florida.
last time they were good, though?
Tebow,
Yeah, but that was almost 20 years ago.
yeah, but they're historically just good. You know what I mean?
I mean,
They're just
they're the Gators. I get it, but
they had they've had some really good years.
you can't sell kids on Tim Tebow anymore. I love Tebow. Don't get me wrong; he's on my Mount Rushmore of Americans. But
But you don't. So today you don't even need to do that. Today, all you need to do is have a coach and then just offer kids a bunch of money, which they can do.
again, that might be how they recruit in the future. But again, it's still hard to recruit within the state of Florida because you have two other schools, and also like Ohio State comes down there, Oregon comes down to Florida.
Yeah,
You
football's
everyone's coming. Everyone's
Florida's the
coming.
best football talent, and I get that, but it's easier to get people to go to your home state school. It's much easier.
What if for an FSU fan? You think a kid from Tallahassee is gonna be like, you know what? I'm fucked at Knowles. I'm going to Gainesville.
No, they won't do that. But if there's enough talent in Florida to where you could fix this problem, is what I'll say.
It's a hotbed of talent, and Florida should be better. I agree, but I also think FSU should be better.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And FSU beat Bama, and we could talk about Bama because Bama's figured it out.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm a little upset because I would have loved to see Kalen DeBoer just shit the bed. That would have been awesome.
I mean, if you listen to like if you like follow Alabama like social media at all, or like listen to Paul Feinbaum's show, like the things people were saying about Caleb DeBoer after the Florida State loss were awful. Like they were,
That's all Alabama has, is all the state of Alabama has. It's their football team.
and they have Auburn. Let's not forget about them.
No, Auburn is so secondary to University of Alabama football. It's
It's
ridiculous.
about 50-50 actually, I think.
Maybe in fandom, but Auburn really has never accomplished anything even close to what Bama's accomplished.
Yeah, of
And
course
it's
not.
people from Alabama's pride and joy is University of Alabama football. That's who they are.
And Kalen DeBoer, I think he's turned. I think they like him now. It helps when you win
That's yeah, exactly. That's
because
no
if
one
you
actually cares.
the way
And
Bama looked week one, and you saw that schedule, you're like, is Bama like going to win these games? And so far, they have. They've beaten the
Ty,
They
Ty Simpson has looked the part too. Ty Simpson has looked good.
it's just like it seems like Hale DeBoer's figured something out. The Black Hoodie of Death seems to be working.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they figured out, but something clicked after that game. Because that was essentially like one more loss for Kalen DeBoer after going 9-3 or whatever they did last season. You're kind of gonna be, you're gonna be canned. Whether it's at the end of the season or middle of the way through the year. And University of Alabama could get any coach they want. They could have had Saban come back. Who knows?
I don't think Saban's coming back. I think he likes it too much on college game day.
Yeah, him and uh, Pat McAfee are awesome.
All right, but sticking to SEC or any other SEC team, like, do you think Tennessee? We had the big game against Tennessee, Oklahoma. Like, that's an exciting game.
I think John Mateer, or I think Mateer is a flop. What else? I think about the SEC.
I think he just came back too
Gunnar
early.
Stockton. Well, then he should.
Yeah.
Like he came back and he hasn't been good since he came back.
Because he was a Heisman
I think
caliber
Gunnar.
player early on.
I mean, he played 3 games before he got hurt.
Yeah, people
One
talk
of them
about
was against my team, which sucked, but he looked awesome in that game.
I think Tennessee. I think Tennessee is legit. If they beat Oklahoma, I mean they still have to play Vanderbilt, but
Vanderbilt is out of nowhere good. I don't know what happened or what
well,
they did.
last year they had something going.
They did. They beat Bam. Well, maybe that was it. They beat Bama and everybody loved them so much that maybe they got good
Uh,
recruits.
Everyone fell in love with Diego Pavia. This was a long time coming. They recruited the right guys to come play for them. They had the right coach. Like
Yeah.
Clark Lee taught
Yeah.
Clark Lee taught the high game when he first came to Vanderbilt, and I remember texting our friend Jacob Feldstein saying, "Who the fuck is this guy? Like he's gonna be gone within a year." Like Clark Lee taught a high praise about Vanderbilt, like saying he was the savior of the program.
Without a doubt.
And you know what? He's backed it up. It took a while, but this was a long time coming.
Yeah. Yeah. And I am also shocked at how bad Georgia is compared to how good they usually are.
And Georgia's still
Gunnar
winning game.
Stockton sucks.
Georgia's still winning games. Georgia's
They
still
are.
relevant.
They're just a football factory, but
That's
Gunnar
what, and
sucks.
that's why I think Georgia Tech's going to beat them.
I wouldn't be that surprised.
It's at Georgia
Although,
Tech. It's at Georgia Tech, which is not a hard place to play by any means, but it's better than
no,
it's worse than playing at home.
correct.
All right. Do you have any other college football takes before we go to the NFL?
Um, I think Michigan makes the playoffs this
I think
year.
Michigan makes the playoff. How many losses do you have?
2. So that
Okay.
means they can't lose again.
You can't
That
lose.
means so, but they've got a cupcake until Ohio State, and that's a must-win game. They also have to win the Big Ten championship, which they should if they beat Ohio State. But so is Indiana on Michigan side or the other side? I forget.
It, what do you mean side? There's no conferences. There's no divisions.
Oh, right, they got rid of that. So if theoretically, if Michigan beat Ohio State, I guess I don't even know who would be in the Big Ten
No, because
championship. Would it be?
you have two losses, so
Yeah,
it's going to be Indiana or Ohio State. There's no scenario, but Michigan can still miss out on a championship and make the playoff theoretically.
I thought Indiana has come in and ruined everything.
Indiana's making things fun.
I know.
I know
Oh,
they beat Oregon, but how can you not root for Indiana? I love Bloomington. It's a great college town.
yeah, no, that's right. I just wish that I just wish I wish Michigan was a little bit better because right now Indiana is good to the point where they're taking away opportunity, whereas I wish that we were good from the beginning of the season. But
But I do think there's a path where, like, let's say Michigan beats Ohio State. I think there
Yeah,
is a path where Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, and Michigan all made the playoff. There is a path.
yeah, but it's not that. The way that it would have to play out is that Ohio State would have to be undefeated, still be the number one team in the country, to where Michigan would have to beat Ohio State as the number one team in the country. So they would claim that they had the best win in college football regular season, and that could propel them into the playoff.
No,
It would have to be like that scenario, which is probable. Like Ohio
because
State's probably not going to lose to that game, but they would have to be the number one team in the country.
I do think Big Ten is going to get the most teams in the playoff.
Even with Penn State being out,
Even with Penn
it's
State
really
being
just
out, I still think there's a path for Michigan if they beat Ohio State.
right.
I think Washington's out because I think they're going to lose to Oregon.
Yeah, I think they're out too. You think USC?
I think USC has Nebraska. Nebraska's frisky. I
It's
feel like
just Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon. That's it right now that are in, right?
I mean those are for those would be the three if I were to pick the playoff right now. Those are the three I would pick right now. Yes,
But that's those are the only ones. Like the SEC, I think will have more teams in the
and I think
playoffs.
yeah USC has Nebraska. They play Iowa and they play Oregon. So USC is going to lose another game.
Yeah, I think so too.
There's no way they win out this schedule. All right.
I agree.
All right, we got about 4 minutes left, so let's just quickly cover the NFL. Your Dolphins looked good on Sunday.
Oh, I Washington puts me just in a bad mood
Even when
because
they win,
here's the situation. Every coach needs to get fired, all of them. Everyone needs to get fired. They need to bring in like tough guy. They need to bring in like a Dan Campbell, just someone that will just put some meat on those bones and have them not be so goddamn soft. What is this? Like there are grown men, professional athletes who can't play in the cold. That's not like a real excuse. They lose all the time. They lose in big games. Tua sucks. I'm so out on him. We had our best player go down. His leg was pointing the wrong direction. Things couldn't be going worse. It
and
couldn't
yet
be
you
worse.
and
There's no
yet you
reason to
won on
tank.
Sunday.
Yeah, they won on Sunday. Big whoop. There's no reason to tank. There's no one to tank for. And tanking also just doesn't generally work in the NFL. You've seen the Browns, they tank every season essentially. It's
All right,
just they're a horrible, horrible organization. Put me in a bad mood listening to them, watching them talking about it. But they're the same old Dolphins. Like they're one tackle away from being the same spot they were the last 5 seasons, right? They make that they tackle Lad McConkey on that last play where the Dolphins gave up 60 yards on a like goddamn slant. Like how does that even happen? Ridiculous to lose the game, which it doesn't even matter. Like
all right.
they suck.
Let's talk about some good teams. I think the Colts are for real.
The Colts are for real, and I've always thought highly of Daniel Jones.
Even when he sucked in New York.
Even when he sucked, it wasn't his fault. The offensive line was as horrible as you could possibly make it. You can even see it with Saquon. Like Saquon was on that team and he was averaging like 30 yards a game. They just didn't hold up. It was like to me, it was a lot more obvious, right? Like Saquon leaves, he becomes the greatest running back of all time. He gets a new line. And the same thing is happening with Daniel Jones. He was always good, in my opinion.
All right, I'm a fan of a take. So you saw him go to the Colts. You're like, you know what? Now Daniel Jones is going to be unleashed.
I didn't think that he was going to be unleashed to the level that he's at right now, but I definitely thought he was going to be much better than he was on the Giants.
All right. All right, we got about a minute left. I think we've covered your Super Bowl picks, but since this is your second time on the season, do you remember the Super Bowl pick you made?
I think I said Lions Packers.
You said Bills over Eagles. 0 for 2 on that one. Do you stand by that? Do you stand by
Yeah, you
that
know what?
take?
Let's stick with that. I'm gonna double down on that take.
All right, mine's Eagles over Bills. I'm
That's original.
it's super original. Anyways, this has been awesome. Always great having you on the show, talking ball. Love, welcome back whenever you want this season. Always great talking to you.
Same to you.
All right,
Thanks for having me.
all right, I'll see you later.
See ya.
Got an exciting weekend of college football coming up. It all starts Saturday at high noon with a ranked SEC matchup between Vanderbilt and Texas. Vanderbilt's a good team. We talk about them all the time, but they need to prove to everyone they can win the big games on the road. And this is a perfect opportunity to do that. Also, who knows if Archman is going to play? As of this recording, we simply just do not know. Moving to the afternoon, we got Louisville and Virginia Tech. And you may be wondering, why am I talking about this game? That's because Step 1 is taking a road trip down to Blacksburg for this game. Always wanted to go to a game at Virginia Tech, and I'm making it happen. I really hope we get a field start for this game. I think Virginia Tech's frisky. I think Louisville's overrated. Also, we got Florida and Georgia. Should be a blowout game, but this game's always fun, and I think Florida's going to play with an edge now that they fired Billy Napier. And on Saturday night, we got two ranked matchups. First one is Oklahoma and Tennessee. This is a playoff contention elimination game for both teams. I expect both teams to come out swinging. Knoxville will be rocking. I'm excited for this game. Also, we got a Big 12 ranked matchup with Cincinnati heading to Salt Lake City to take on the Utes. It's a night game in Utah, so I think it's safe to say Utah is going to win this game because they rarely lose at home and they never lose home games at night. Moving to the NFL, we got some fun games coming up this weekend. It all starts Thursday night with the Ravens and Dolphins. Now, it looks like that as of his taping, Lamar Jackson is going to play for the Ravens. So I think the Ravens offense is going to be firing on all cylinders. The question is, can the depleted defense stop what looks like a rejuvenated Miami Dolphins offense? Moving into Sunday, not a ton of good games in the early slot. We're just in that time of year. Vikings Lions should be fun because it's a divisional game. We'll see if the Colts continue to shine as they take on the Steelers. And the Packers take on the Panthers, which hopefully will be an easy win. And in the afternoon, we only have three games, but the big one is an AFC Championship rematch between the Bills and Chiefs. We get this game every year. I'm excited for this one. Both teams are playing really well right now. I think this will be a high scoring shootout. And on Sunday night, we got the Seahawks and Commanders. If Jane Daniels plays this game, could be fun, but who knows if he's going to play. As for the Seahawks, they're a sneaky good team, so I think this game is going to be more exciting than it might appear. And on Monday night, we got the Cardinals and Cowboys. Both teams could use a win, but I don't really know what to expect from this game. I think the Cowboys have a decent offense, and the Cardinals, if Kyler Murray plays, could have a chance to win. Again, this is a wild card game. Don't really know what to expect. That's our show for this week. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back next week. Big Fred, over and out.